Again, as we go along, I want you to try and pick out the various risks for falls. Here we see Greg again. This time, he has been admitted to the ICU and the team follows best practice for safe patient handling and mobility. They have been working with him and use the equipment to ensure both their safety and Greg's safety. The team makes sure that Greg does what he can and then only gets assistance from the equipment when he needs it. Julie uses the cardiac chair position feature of the bed to put Greg into a seated position. From there, she conducts exercises to increase Greg's strength. She can change the position of the chair in order to progress Greg's exercises. Julie lowers the Trendelenburg and knee gauge positions of the bed. Then, she dons a deluxe walking sling onto Greg while he is in the seated position. Julie asks Greg to move his right leg over the edge of the bed and gradually work his way into a sitting position at the edge of the bed. Julie reassures Greg by pointing out that the sling will help to keep him safe throughout the movement. Greg eventually sits at the edge of the bed, and Julie dons the other leg strap of the sling. Julie has Greg work on his sitting balance at the edge of the bed. She asks Greg to lean to the side to show him that he is safe with the sling. As Greg progresses, Julie lets off a little more tension on the ceiling lift strap. It's now time for Greg to work on standing. Julie sets up Greg's walker and asks him to stand. As he stands, Julie takes up the tension on the ceiling lift. Greg is then asked to weight shift from side to side. Now it is time for Greg to transfer into a chair. Greg gets up with the walking sling in place for his safety. Greg feels confident and is able to take his time to shift his weight and move into a position to sit on the chair. The next day, Julie and Fred are going to help Greg attempt walking. Greg is using the walking handles of the floor lift, and Julie is right beside and slightly behind him. Fred is following Greg with a wheelchair. About 6 feet from the bed, Greg stumbles backward and the sling catches him, preventing his fall and ensuring he is safe. Greg is tired, and Fred brings up the wheelchair so that Greg can have a rest. Greg is doing well with his progressions and will be discharged to a step-down unit. Fortunately, the step-down unit has similar equipment to ensure that Greg can continue his mobility training.